Hi, I'm back. Hello, and it's 2026. Hooray! It's actually like 1 a.m. my time, which is like I haven't really done anything since it got midnight. I messaged all my friends and my family, be like Happy New Year and stuff. But that's kind of it. Like I haven't done anything really substantial. So this is one of the first things I'm doing in the new year is bringing this channel back. But over on my Hypnosis channel, where I make files myself, Hypno Princess Kate, which you can find a link for in the description if you would like. I got multiple requests for the to make new videos on this channel, which did surprise me, especially over there. But I'm sure. I mean, I like doing this. Last year, I kind of stopped making videos here because I was focusing on my Patreon and like building up Hypno Princess Kate, as like a brand and make it something, notable in terms of like having eyes on it and doing consistent content and getting a good backlog and whatnot. So I was really focusing on that channel this last year in 2025. So I didn't have a whole lot of like extra motivation for like when it was recording time or when it was like time to do something with recording. I didn't want to do this. Like I just kind of wanted to do other stuff in the other free time that I had. So it just kind of fell by the wayside. But it's not terribly difficult to do this channel, and people wanted it, which makes me more motivated to want to do it. So I yeah, I here we are in 2026, and I'm starting this. I'm not gonna have a consistent upload schedule. I'm just doing it as I want to do it. I want to like shoot like roughly for like once a week at least, but we'll see. Maybe it'll be more, maybe it'll be less. It kind of just depends on how I'm feeling, and yeah. So without further ado, let's get into the video.
I always find it amusing when I see people posting videos like, real hypnotist hypnotizes you, or real hypnotist puts you in trance, hypnotherapist drops you. People either think that hypnosis is this magical occult thing or complete bullshit. Hypnosis is one of those topics that has been so scandalized, sensationalized, that it's left people really divided and confused, of course, about what it actually is. I mean, obviously, with the mainstream portrayal, pop culture, mainstream media, they portray it as this fantastical thing. And in their portrayal, they are so over the top that, of course, the general population would assume, oh, that's magic, so obviously that's fake, there's no such thing as magic. So the meaning has been so distorted that you have two groups of people in very different camps: people that dismiss it automatically as all completely fake, or then the group that think that it's actually dangerous. Some people are passionate in believing that it is completely not real, and then others will say, oh no, you need informed consent. They believe in it so strongly that they think that it requires disclaimers, so many disclaimers, and ethics and licensures. So that's why I kind of wanted to delve into exploring what is real, what is fake with hypnosis. And we can start with the easy part, which I'm being so sarcastic because we can't even agree on this part, the definition of what is hypnosis. The internet can't even agree on something as simple as the definition of hypnosis. So the definitions, if you look online, vary significantly. Dictionary.com defines it as an artificially induced trance state resembling sleep, characterized by heightened suggestibility to suggestion. Mayo Clinic defines it as a changed state of awareness and increased relaxation that allows for improved focus and concentration. Merriam-Webster defines it as a trance-like state that resembles sleep, but is induced by a person whose suggestions are readily accepted by the subject. That one is probably the most annoying to me. Psychology Today defines it as the mental state of highly focused concentration, diminished peripheral awareness, and heightened suggestibility. So as you can see, that is quite a range of definitions, and they contradict each other as well. So it makes you sleepy. You're completely asleep. No, you're highly focused. No, you have diminished peripheral awareness. Yes, but the suggestions are readily accepted by your subconscious mind. No, it just increases suggestibility of the subject. No, it's like you're feeling really relaxed and sleepy, so that allows for better focus and concentration. Like, I can't think of any other term that is so divided. Like, I've never seen anything else that has such a conflicting list of definitions. So I'm not blaming general audiences for being confused about.
I do want to comment on this. She might go into it, but the contradiction of like hypnosis makes you sleepy. Even hypnosis as like a term is derived from like the god of sleep or whatever, or it's it's something to do with sleep. I know Hypnos is the god of sleep in like in Greek mythology, right? But I think that's where that came from. But I'm not 100% certain. But regardless of that, they are linked, and the stereotypical sleep kind of thing, which like I even like that because I associate it with hypnosis, but it's such a misnomer. And like she was saying, it's like the idea is it makes you sleepy, but then also like readily accepting, commands or whatever the definition said exactly. Like it's a contradictory like thing in terms of like you can't you can't be sleepy at a sleep and like actually absorbing anything. Just not how it works. As amazing as it would be to like actually be able to be like hypnotized in your sleep and like brainwashed in your sleep, like hot as shit idea. But as far as I'm aware, it doesn't actually work that way in terms of like how your brain works. Like maybe it does, but I'm like 90% sure that it's not the case and it doesn't actually work. So the idea that you're getting sleepy is just it just doesn't make any damn sense, to be honest with you. And that as someone who even perpetuates the like using like sleep as like a trigger or as like a induction in the trance, because it is so associated. And I will say I think the hypnosis community, especially since like 2020 or so, has done a good job of like uncoupling and using that term less. I see drop or sync kind of used a lot more than sleep. I love sleep because it's stereotypical, and I grew up in the 2010s era of hypnosis when it was used very much so, especially when I first got started in the early 2010s, or like early to mid, I guess, 2010s. So it just kind of has like a special place in my heart, but it doesn't make any sense in terms of like what hypnosis is and how you interact with it. It can make you like sleepy because of focusing on something can make you sleepy. And to me, hypnosis is, if we're going to describe it as any one thing, which just isn't possible, it's not any one thing. But if it were, I think the closest thing rather than like a type of sleep is focus. And focusing on something, whether it be someone talking or a pocket watch or whatever, it can make you like sleepy. And relaxation videos work on this. Like for me, one of my favorite like genres of like ASMR of like relaxation videos that like fall asleep are like follow like a light triggers. I like those a lot, like where you follow the light around and whatnot. I think it's just really relaxing. Or just like whisper rambles, and those work in a similar way, where your intention is to get sleepy and go to sleep, and then it gives you something to focus on. It's the same concept as like the stereotypical like counting sheep when you're trying to sleep. It's the same concept. I don't want to say despite being a hypnotist for a long time, I don't want to say I'm an authority on it. I read a lot and I learned a lot, and then like I kind of stopped because I was comfortable, I guess, where I was. And in 2026, I actually want to learn more and more. I want to go back to reading texts and whatnot, and have a more not clinical, but like more like academic understanding of these things, and being able to at least like follow along when like people like Sleeping Girl or other educators like talk kind of at a higher level. Like I want to be able to like follow those conversations more, if not participate in them. So I want to. So all that to say, I'm not like an expert, but I believe that it's the same concept. So anyway, what I was saying before I got off, it was a bit of a tangent. Was focus in hypnosis is the most important thing, because it is just like focusing entirely on that thing, whether it be a spiral, a pocket watch, voice, whatever, anything that is being used as the focal point, audio or visual, which can make you sleepy, but that isn't like intentional, and you can be very amped up and very like awake and still be hypnotized and still be in trance. And I think that the idea that it is something to sleep, like it's associated with sleep, because it's just not, is like, especially new subjects kind of get this like feeling of like, if they aren't sleepy, then it isn't working, quote unquote. And I think that is harmful, because especially like if you're into like the more kinky side of hypnosis, it's an exciting thing, right? So it doesn't make any sense that you're gonna be all sleepy and stuff, because it's an inherently exciting thing. So it is like a little bit like you're like, I don't know if it's working, and then that power of suggestion kind of like is like it's like a feedback loop of like, they don't think it's working, so it's not working, but they could still be in a trance. They're just rejecting suggestions subconsciously because of the fact that they think they think it's not working, and it just creates this like kind of gross, not gross, maybe that's the wrong term, but like kind of like harmful like feedback loop, especially in newer or inexperienced subjects. And it is just like, damn, if it had never been associated with sleep so much like that, we might not have this problem. That was a really long rant. That might be I guess you'll know, but I'm like, I might just upload that as my own video. Well, I guess we'll see. We'll see what she continues to talk about.
What hypnosis is, readily accepted by the subject. It's definitions like that that make people falsely believe that a hypnotized subject can't resist the hypnotist, that they're compelled to blindly obey the hypnotist's suggestions, and in a state of trance, the subject's defenses and inhibitions are completely neutralized, leaving them completely helpless to the hypnotist, and the hypnotist has access to their subconscious mind completely unrestricted. And that definition definitely leans into the stereotypical Hollywood trope. And then trance-like state that resembles sleep. Well, we all know that one isn't correct. You could be driving or reading,
I just went on like a 10-minute long rant about
arguably
that. How that was
be in
not
a state
true.
of deep trance while performing other tasks. Usually if the task or activity is something that's routine enough for you, like driving. I fall into trance easily when I'm playing.
I would say also the fact that highway hypnosis is a thing is a little scary. Driving is dangerous. And I don't feel like it should be like so routine or so normalized such that we kind of that highway hypnosis is like a real thing. That shouldn't be the case. It's dangerous. Driving a car is dangerous. You should be on high alert at all times. I'm not shaming anyone who does. I mean, it happens to everyone, but I am just like, it's a cultural thing, partially, that it's so like normalized to just be driving around these like 2,000 pound death machines, more than 2,000 pounds in some cases. It's not good. And just be completely like checked out. It's not good, man. This has been your r/fuck cars little interjection.
Piano because I can't think. So I can't read.
Okay, also I want to say her green screen is really good. Her lighting and green screen usage is like really good. I can tell obviously the background is like, I'm gonna be charitable and say not AI, but it is some sort of like that doesn't look real. Looks kind of like a painting almost. Um, so like I know it's a green screen because of that, but like in terms of like, there's no like really bleeding really much around the edges. Like it's really professional. It looks really good. Looks like a really good job. I'll also say that this damn spiral caught me a bit in the beginning when I was listening to her talk, because she was putting up like what do you call it, examples of what she was talking about, and then like they would go away and it would just be the spiral with like there's like some flashing words and stuff, and I'm just like I'm trying to focus on what she's saying because I do like this conversation, this topic. I gotta like I'm trying not to
Music. So I have to
focus
turn
on
off my
it.
brain because as soon as the conscious thought comes in, the notes are gone. I have to intuitively receive the notes. So being in trance helps me play by ear. So hypnosis can resemble sleep with, somebody laying on a sofa with a stereotypical hypnotherapy thing, but the person can be wide awake, sitting up, performing tasks, if they're basic and passive,
Hold
routine
on.
enough, can be wide awake, sitting up. Somebody laying on a sofa with a stereotypical hypnotherapy thing, but the person can be wide awake, sitting up, performing tasks,
Okay,
if they're
that is
basic
what I
and
thought it was, and I was like, am I seeing things? That's funny.
passive, routine enough with themselves, with a partner, if you catch my drift. So when even the dictionaries, the official dictionaries, can't decide or agree on what hypnosis is, if it's sleep or super focus, it's really easy for unlicensed people or unprofessional mental health practitioners to kind of market themselves as if they were mental health practitioners. Continuing on with what is fake or misleading about hypnosis, there's so many exaggerated claims about the dangers of hypnosis, especially when you go down the rabbit hole of the hypno kink fetish communities. Reddit, mainly, if you go down that rabbit hole, there'll be a lot of anecdotal posts that are saying things like, this file is dangerous and it'll rewire your brain forever. The Bambi files are a pretty good example of this if you go down that rabbit hole. Those are usually exclusive to those forums and exclusively anecdotal, and people try to pass that off as proof that it's real, that this is going to cause irrevocable change. But at the end of the day, even if there's a ton of posts that are similar on Reddit, which its own echo chamber with its own group of problems.
I will say that I think this is twofold, right? So one, like anything, hypnosis can be dangerous if you're under the idea that hypnosis can be dangerous because it works on suggestibility and susceptibility and suggestion. If you already subconsciously believe that hypnosis can do these crazy, dangerous things, it can do them. It isn't a guarantee, but it can do them. And then two, I think a lot of the files or like posts, I mean, about files that are like, this is dangerous, stay away, they almost always actually include what the file was in the post when they're talking about it. It's like it's advertisement. And I honestly think that's all it is that it is an advertisement. I think that, if anything, like the most charitable, if I'm not being super cynical and just being like, it's a straight up advertisement, if I am saying there's a little kernel of truth, it is an advertisement, maybe not fully intentionally, but they just got out of the experience. They're still in like an altered state of consciousness, and then they're like, making this post that's like very emotional, and but like they wake up the next day and they're probably fine. That's the most charitable, and I'm sure that does happen. But I do think a lot of them are intentionally, unintentionally, whatever. It is a form of like almost propaganda, which that's a neutral term, not political propaganda, but just like, yeah, just advertisement, just propaganda, and then like, but those posts introduce people to the first concept that I talked about of like, you're working on suggestibility and susceptibility. So if you already believe that, and you see all those posts, it's like, this is dangerous, stay away, and then you consume a file that maybe has some effects that you don't want, you, instead of rejecting it and having like good subject agency, you'll be like, oh man, I just listened to this, it's now like an ingrained part of me forever, and that kind of thing, where it is just like, it works against yourself. So I hate those kind of things, because it is so, I don't want to say murky, I don't know the right word, but it is so like self-propagating kind of thing. We should teach good ethics, but I also am like, a lot of what is good ethics in hypnosis is just good ethics in kink and BDSM. It's just overall those concepts. It's not super specific to like hypnosis in terms of just like a hypnosis scene when you're doing something with a partner, or to a lesser extent a file. It is like a heightened state of like trust, and you know it's very intimate. So if you follow like good guidelines for kink safety, you will be fine. But it's the same concept of like, abuse with hypnosis can happen in the same way that abuse can happen in any kink. It's not specific to hypnosis in the way that it is talked about with like she mentioned the Bambi files and whatnot, where it is like, I mean, Bambi's almost like Voldemort in the hypnosis community, and it just is self-propagating. I will admit, I think I lost my train of thought. It's 1:45 in the morning, so cut me some slack there if I did not fully finish that point. But I did a little bit of rambling, so I think I got most of what I was trying to say across, even if I did completely just lose track of what I was saying. It's like Voldemort, and you can't talk about it. But it's giving it power. It's giving it more power than it deserves in that way. I mean, I think the Family Files are like fine. They're not anything fantastic. Um, there's way better stuff out. I'll say it. There's way better stuff out anyway. There's way more like every way. There's way better stuff that's like on that topic. They're like above average. Like I don't think they're like garbage, I guess, but like they're nothing special really. And that's like part of the marketing, right? Is like everyone's like, "Oh, they're so strong. Oh my gosh." And then it's like, the people who are like, I want to check this out. And yeah, and just it being talked about even with like hushed tones, like, don't say the name and stuff, and it just reinforces the allure. And it's just like, no, just go listen to like Mrs. Kalia or someone that's like great and not that, which isn't good. It's not, it's super high quality writing, Go listen or watch basically anyone in the Hypno Creators Collective, for example. Like, there's like 40 hypnotists that are in it, me included, that are way better than Bambi Files. But they have the allure that none of us really have the marketing besides like Shibi and Kalia, I would say, probably like the two most. The biggest, especially Shibi, definitely has advertising, but I don't know. I think it rivals Bambi, honestly. At least maybe like nowadays she's more popular and more talked about, but I wouldn't say historically that that is the case. Anyway, just went a long ramble. I just hate it. I just hate its place in our community, and I hate its place in discourse. It's just so fucking annoying. I'm gonna be completely honest. It's just so fucking annoying.
its own right, that it's just anecdotal evidence at the end of the day. So people that say that it can erase memories and implant new fetishes or make you a mindless sissy bimbo, or if you're straight it'll make you like men, if you like men it'll make you like women, like within the context of the role play, sure, but the subject wants to believe that they're being fully controlled by the hypnotist in terms of the play, in terms of the kink, that the hypnotist has the power to override their free will and implant post-hypnotic triggers. That is all part of the play. So the Bambi files are a really good example of echo chambers. It's really not proof. It's not proving that, okay, all these people are saying that this is happening, so this must be true. It's more so showing that it's a feedback loop within itself. So
Oh
they are seeing.
no! Oh no! I said the thing that she was gonna say. I'm gonna get accusations of pre-watching. Oh no! Honestly, I didn't even know. I thought this might have been. I wasn't sure if this was like a file or if this was like a talk. So I was just kind of curious either way. But I wasn't. I had no idea what this video even was. Um, but I'm enjoying this because I do like talking about this stuff and like thinking about this stuff. I think it's interesting. Like I love like the meta analysis of both hypnosis and the community. I enjoy it a lot.
All of this anecdotal evidence, which reinforces the belief that this file is dangerous or that this is going to have this effect, when the reality is that there's no evidence that shows that any file can cause any permanent damage or changes. At most, it will.
Before she gets on to her next point, I want to say that I do think a lot of people that get into hypnosis don't fully understand like BDSM tenets and like the idea of a scene, and I think that that can play into the idea of why people don't really fully understand what she was just saying about like that's part of the role play, that's part of the thing. Not that hypnosis is the role play, hypnosis is real, but I like you're still putting yourself into a role of the subject, or you know, if it's an actual like role play hypnosis video, because you know some people do that. I've done a couple of those and whatnot. It's like you're putting yourself into a particular role in that role play, but even you know non role play like scenes of hypnosis is still like you're playing a role. You're playing the person who's being hypnotized. You're being hypnotized, but you're also playing the role of being hypnotized. Which I'm not sure if that makes a whole lot of sense. It does in my head, but it is just like I think people don't. I think especially new people who are getting into hypnosis without any BDSM background or kink background at all are like they just don't get it, and I don't blame them because I don't think as a community that it's done a great job, myself included, about teaching and putting emphasis on teaching those kind of general BDSM things, because I think hypnosis community, again, me included, is very insular in terms of like we just talk about hypnosis and the way that it kind of functions. I know obviously people are into the wider BDSM scene, but I do feel like, at least anecdotally, a lot, if not a majority of the people that I interact with in the community are like hypnosis first, me included, where it's like anything else that we enjoy within the kink realm, within like BDSM or kink in general, is under the umbrella of hypnosis. And so I think that warps a lot of people's perspective, because I think it's really common. I mean, there's a name for it, hypnosexual. Like, we have a community term for it, of like, it's like that is the thing that your sexuality revolves around. So um I don't remember what I was saying. Oh my gosh, I'm getting way too tired. So anyway, but the point being, um, I think it's easy to just not understand, and I think that needs to be pushed more. Not that it isn't at all. We have a lot of great educators who are teaching this stuff. I just think in general, it's just a lack of knowledge, and how that knowledge gets out, I don't know. I'm not an educator. Um, and I think the educators that we do have are great. I think maybe we just need more educators. I don't really know. Or the educators that we do have need to be more popular. Like, we need to signal boost them. I try and signal boost as much as I can myself, but I have a small platform. And I do think like Shibi and Mistress Kalia, which I don't know why those are in my head, is like the two biggest one like creators in our scene. I mean, I know Shibi is like number one. I don't know if Mistress Kalia is number two, but it sure feels like it, at least to me. Um, anyway, my point being, I think they do a good job of like having articles on their websites and whatnot in their community about all this stuff. So I think the top down is doing a good job. Like, I'm not like, I just want to make the point that I'm not like criticizing anyone. I'm just kind of commenting on, I think, like, new people getting into the scene, and where their knowledge comes from, and maybe the lack of knowledge combined with the sensationalizing of things like Bambi kind of work together to be pretty negative.
Reinforce what the listener already feels or already wants to explore or feel. If they're interested in exploring being more feminine or wearing makeup, that desire was already there. It's not that the file has all the power. The person already had the desire. The person can become more open to the suggestions through hypnosis, but hypnosis isn't going to create new desires out of thin air or compulsions out of thin air. And that is what is really ironic about this, because the same hype that makes the files sound so dangerous is what makes people so attracted to those files. Like, I understand why people that passionately believe in hypnosis are really defensive about disproving hypnosis. They want to believe it since it is part of the play, but also acknowledging what is fake versus what is role play and kink and fantasy is so important, because we don't want hypnosis to be associated with being non-consensual content, because frankly, it isn't, which is exactly what has already happened. Then we have, of course, stage hypnosis.
Yeah, on the non-consensual thing, really fucked. I'll just say it, it's really fucked how all the content sites and whatnot that people sell 18 plus content on is like, it's non-consensual. Well, it's the payment processors, it's not the platforms, it's the payment processors. And such a fundamental misunderstanding of what it is. Like, even in a CNC scene, a consensual, non-consensual scene or file, it's still consenting. That's the first C in CNC. And it's really disheartening that there is such a crackdown. It sucks. And it makes me sad. But, I I don't know. I hope it changes.
which is its own separate category. That's pretty much performance, some psychological tricks. It's definitely more in the realm of theatrical magic tricks, mentalists, stage performances. They have actors that are playing along with the performer, the hypnotist. They have people that they select very carefully. They're just using mind games and crowd psychology. The subject is very carefully chosen. It's usually going to be an extroverted person, somebody that is outgoing and willing to, put on a show. No one's going to be under any magical influence. It's going to be peer pressure, right? They're in this high pressure environment with hundreds of eyes on them and this expectation to perform. So there's nothing mystical or deeper than that. So I find that people that are...
I think it is interesting, like, humans in general, even outside of hypnosis and trance, are really influential. I mean, that's what advertisements work on. Like the ideas and the things that we do with hypnosis and conditioning and trance in this community is like, it's not exclusive. It's not like these psychological tricks and things are exclusive to what we do. It's just like a fundamental part of humans, which is fascinating, a little scary. Like, the advertisement business is so much money in it because of how influential humans are. But sage hypnosis works off of that too, in a way that a file doesn't.
Really deep in the hypno kink community, they are part of these echo chambers. These echo chambers reinforce and repeat.
I missed the first thing that she said.
Of eyes on them and this expectation to, and that the disclaimer that this is dangerous community, mystical or deeper than that. So I find that people that are really deep in the hypno kink community, they are part of these echo chambers. These echo chambers reinforce and repeat these warnings, like that you need a disclaimer that this is dangerous. They get the external validation. So ironically, they're using the same methods that would be used in brainwashing and hypnosis. And that sensationalization within the echo chamber creates its own feedback loop, creates more anecdotes, more fear, more misinformation. If you, for example, if I were to say any of this in one of those echo chambers, they would probably come for my neck because they passionately believe, they want to believe that, no, this is real and this is dangerous and it needs to be respected, almost as if it's a prescription drug that needs disclaimers.
I don't necessarily disagree, although I do think that a lot of the fear-mongering type of stuff is not from people deep in the community. Though, I mean, I can see her point about it being like people who are deep in the community because of the feedback loop. And I don't necessarily disagree. Like, I think a lot of the people that are like Bambi's dangerous and scary are like fairly into it. But I also am just like, maybe it's anecdotal. Maybe it's just like me. I know it's we have a big community. For a niche community, we're very big. And so I'm like, maybe it's just what I see, but I feel like I don't see that much of that from like people who are actually in the community in terms of like having a presence in the community, not just like some random Reddit accounts that doesn't interact with anything other than like porn hypnosis gifs, basically, like type stuff, which is fine. You can do that. I'm not disparaging that. However, when we're talking about people who are deep into the hypnosis community, like she said, she thinks a lot of the people who are in that feedback loop are like the whole like we need to discuss or we need to respect it. And it's like a prescription drug. I don't know if I fully agree with that. I feel like it's like there are people who are not in the community, and there are people who are like a little bit in the community, but not like majority, and there's people who are deep. And I think that like the people who were hawking the like rage or not, I wanted to say rage bait, but I think that's just me being tired. Like the like the like she was saying, the respect thing, or like it's a prescription drug. I feel like those are mainly people who are like slightly on the spectrum of like below medium to not in the community. I don't feel like they're on the side of the spectrum that are like deep into the hypnosis community. Maybe you could argue a little bit further on that than the midpoint, but I would argue somewhere in that midpoint is like where majority of the people saying that kind of stuff are and propagating that scare stuff are. Um, Maybe that's anecdotal, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know what like she's probably also working off anecdotal um like experience and anecdotal experience. Yeah. That's the right word. I don't know why it didn't sound right.
Expectation that they have of the danger, of the validity, ironically, is what's amplifying the effect of the file. So the danger isn't in the act of hypnotizing someone, it is in the reputation that it has gotten. And I mean, the reputation has snowballed so far that hypnotizing someone has almost become synonymous with non-consensual content, especially in regards to moderation and platforms. It's so bad that payment processors, credit card companies, MasterCard, Visa, they threaten or even restrict platforms from using the terms hypnosis. So if, for example, on TikTok, I tried typing hashtag Caw the Snake. Yes, Caw from the Jungle Book. This violates community guideline, so it's already super censored because of the misunderstanding. Advertisers or platforms want to be advertiser friendly, and God forbid we offend the great Lord, our advertiser companies. So they rather play it safe. And that's where the fantasy, fun roleplay runs the danger of becoming corporate censorship. The credit card companies and payment processors already have way too much power over the gaming industry, anime, adult entertainment. That's its own separate problem that's a little bit beyond the scope of this discussion of what is hypnosis, but it does tie back in that every automated policy that is created now treats hypnosis as if it were non-consent. It equals them. So that is fueling the reputation in itself. So for example, the average person is going to see that and say, oh, well, if this company is saying that it's non-consensual, then it must be true. That's an actual, a big reputable company. Since we're already talking about adult content, HFOs. So I know you guys will probably be upset about this. I'm sorry.
I'm so curious what she's gonna say because the way that she's coming off is like that it isn't real, I guess, is what she's going to say. And I don't know. I feel like I've seen videos of people having an HFO. Like, so I am curious if she's gonna say that she doesn't believe it at all.
Boys, you're probably gonna hate me for it. HFOs, it's mainly fun fantasy. In terms of science, just speaking strictly on science, empirically, the only evidence is mostly just anecdotal.
That's true.
We already know the largest sexual organ in the body is the brain, so it's not like I'm saying it's impossible. I'm just saying scientifically it's rare, typically presents in women, and the data is ridiculously limited, which is why I've never released an HFO file personally. That's on my to-do list. I just feel like I need to read a few more books. Like I need a few more books under my belt before I tackle that subject. properly. Anyway, this video is definitely going to be demonetized.
How are we only halfway through? I feel like I've talked so much. It's gonna be like an hour-long video. I'm sorry. It might be more. Sorry.
Back to the psychology of placebo and belief in regards to hypnosis. Is the field of hypnotherapy real? Technically, if you ask me, no. It's not going to be any more real than life coach, energy healer, Reiki healer. Hypnotherapy itself is real. I'm not dissing that. I'm just saying in regards to a practicing professional in the field, there's no such thing as a practicing professional in the field. There's not one university, at least in the United States, that offers any degrees or certificates in hypnosis or hypnotherapy. And I'm not talking about the online courses that you can complete. Anybody can make one of those courses and sell a certificate. Anybody can buy those. I'm talking strictly accredited university courses or licenses or certificates. There's no federal or state licenses that certify anyone for hypnotherapy or to be a hypnotist. People always want to argue with me in the comments, and even after saying this, I'm sure someone's going to comment something. If there were courses, I promise I would have been the first in line to take it. My ass would have applied immediately. I was in the same boat as the general public. Like, I am still definitely learning this. A lot of this I'm just learning as I go. So I originally did have the impression that, oh yeah, of course you need a license to be a hypnotist. Surely it's just another branch of clinical psychology. If there's no license, then there's going to be at least some sort of certificate or course that's regulated. But there is not. It doesn't exist.
I don't know. I know people in the community that are licensed hypnotherapists, and I know that's like you can go to like the University of Michigan or whatever to like get a license, but like aren't there reputable like let me let's duck go it. Hypnotherapy license. Therapy certification college. I don't know. Let me just look that up and let's see. Okay. American College of Hypnotherapy. American Society of Clinical Hypnosis. Okay. And then Hypnosis Motivation Institute, which is a .edu. The other two were .nets. So let's see. Okay. Can we nationally accredited? Okay. Let's see. This session's private. Can you be hypnotized? Find a hypnotist. Okay, that's not what we want. Okay, I don't want to take free classes. I want to find out more about the AHA. Right? The American Hypnosis Academy. Wait, what is this? What's this shit called? What's the AHA? Hold on. American Hypnosis Association. It says it right there. I'm so tired. Kate, you're so tired. AHA calendar of events. I don't want that. I want to know about this company or whatever they are. I want to know more about them. 1968. Hypnosis Motivation. College of Hypnotherapy is like, this is a real, founded in 1968 by doctors John and Alice Kappas, and celebrating over 50 years of excellence. HMI is a nonprofit org that holds the distinction of being America's first nationally accredited college of hypnotherapy. Now offers convenience. Okay. Okay, so Southern California for 50 years. HMI was founded in 1968. We already read that. HMI's distinction of being America's by an accrediting agency recognized by. Okay, So, what were they? Okay, HMI accreditation. I was gonna be like, okay, so who were they accredited by? By the Accrediting Council for Continuing Education and Training, an accredited agency by the Department of Education. Licensed to operate by the Bureau for Private Post-Secondary Education. Approved by the California Board of Registered Nursing. Approved by the Dental Board. Wait, what? Approved by the AHA as an educational provider. Okay. Okay, so it looks like we want this. Oh, my kitty's coming. Hi, buddy. Let me turn on the second webcam. Yay. Oh, it's frozen. The hell? Is it all better? That's messed up, man. To refresh it or something? Okay, there we go. Well, now my kitty's gone. That was the whole point of this. I wanted to show kitty. Okay, whatever. Anyway, okay. So, the ACCET, is the ACCET good? Let's look up. ACCET legit. Okay. Here's a private nonprofit that provides national accreditation to private post-secondary educational institutions offering. It has been recognized as an independent accrediting agency by the Department of Education since 1978. Okay. This is the U.S. Department of Education website. And Office of... Okay, so this isn't... I thought this would say... Is this one? They say that they are listed, that they're recognized, and I'm sure that they are. But I wanna make sure based on like the actual Department of Education, United States Department of Education accrediting institutions. I don't know what you would call that. Okay, let's see. Is this one? Title 5. Oh, okay, so these are... Okay, so this is all of the college accreditations that they are... The following accrediting agencies are recognized by the Secretary of the Department of Education as reliable authorities concerning the quality of education or training offered by the institutions of higher education or higher educating programs they accredit. Okay. And so we need the ACCET, which is called the Accrediting Council for Continuing Education and Training. Let's see. Accrediting Council for... Okay, ACCET. This is it. Scope of recognition. The accreditation of institutes of higher education that offer continuing education and vocational programs that confer certificates or occupational associate's degrees, including those programs offered via distance education, geographic area of accrediting activities throughout the United States. Only those institutions classified by this agency as vocational may use accreditation by the agency to establish eligibility in Title 4, right? IV is 4, that's 6. I don't know. I'm not super good on Roman numerals. Okay, so it does seem like the ACCET is legit. Now we need to double check to see if the HMI, the College of Hypnosis, whatever. Why is it HMI? What? Why is it called Hypnosis Motivation Institute? Oh, okay. Okay. So, how do we look at all of the ones that are accredited by this? See, this is due diligence. It takes a while. but it is due diligence, right? So how do we find what is is this member institutes? Is this what hypnosis? Okay, so it is actually accredited. So as much as I hate to say it, she is wrong. There is an accredited course to get certified as a hypnotherapist. Nationally recognized in the United States by the Department of Education and or by a accreditation thing that is recognized by the United States as being reliable. So it is accredited. So the AHA is accredited. I'm not going to look at the other ones, the American Society of Clinical Hypnosis and everything, because I don't know if they are, but we did. I mean, I just wanted to prove, because I was like, I'm pretty sure that's not true. And I'm not trying to be like the annoying person in the comments that she was talking about, but it does seem like it's not true. we just did the research, right? Okay, I was worried about being annoying. I'm not trying to be annoying. I don't want to do that, but now I'm doing this, and this is probably more annoying than if I were just to leave it at that.
And people will still argue with me. If you can find a course, leave it in the comments below and I will look into it. So for example, my master's degree is in human resources management. So I have that, obviously, credential, but then we have SHRM, Society of Human Resources Management. They give certificates. They are nationally recognized in the HR community. There's nothing equivalent to that in the hypnosis community. Anyone can charge for a course. There's no requirements or prerequisites.
I will also say that she is right about that part, though, where it's not like you can be a hypnotherapist without being certified by anything, accredited or not. And that is not good, because it is essentially equivalent to like life coach kind of thing. The second camera is fucking frozen again. I don't know why that happens.
It's for a psych degree or licensing exam that they offer. It's, legally speaking, it's the same category as a life coach or energy healer.
Yep, I agree with it.
It's unregulated as long as the person isn't advertising that they can treat or diagnose any illness, which is why I say that the field is technically not real. You can't go to a real hypnotherapist or a real hypnotist, because anyone can claim that they are a hypnotist. Not saying that hypnotherapy or hypnosis isn't real. There's plenty of evidence that shows that that is the case, that is real. The distinction that is important to make here, that I'm trying to make, and what people usually overlook, is the dangers of anybody slapping that title on their page, saying that they are a real hypnotherapist or a real hypnotist. Anyone can take a $200 course, $1,000 course. There's so many different prices. I've seen so many different prices online. And they can legally claim to be a hypnotherapist or a hypnotist. And that certificate that they purchased online is not going to be equal to an actual degree or certificate that is accredited from a university. So if you are looking for a hypnotherapist or a mental health provider that is also trained in hypnosis, what should you look for? You can find psychologists that are also trained in hypnosis, but they are operating under their medical or psychology license, which means they are accountable to the state. They have malpractice insurance.
Yeah.
They have to show clinical outcomes.
Are looking for
in the United States. You need
sure that they are
a PhD.
Licensed psychologist. Okay, it is important for all the things that you just said. Don't just go to whatever Joe Schmo that says that they're a hypnotherapist. Make sure that they're actually licensed as a psychologist.
In clinical psychology from an APA accredited program, not just any university. After the doctorate, you have to complete supervised clinical hours. It's usually 2,000 to 3,000, correct me if I'm wrong.
God damn,
And
that's a
you
lot.
have to, of course, pass the state licensing exam, the examination for professional practice in psychology. And then you can call yourself a licensed clinical psychologist, LCP. With a master's degree, you could be a counselor or assistant, but not a full clinical psychologist. Of course, it's going to be nuanced depending as well on each state, but that really shows, I mean, another reason why it's so important to separate the fantasy play aspect of hypnosis versus the real clinical aspects of hypnosis. The risks, of course, of going to one of these glorified wellness coaches is that, let's say you have severe anxiety and you were looking for an actual healthcare practitioner, and you mistake this certificate that this person bought online for an authentic license. So they're going to assume that this person has clinical expertise when they don't. And the Google reviews are always going to be glowing. We already know we can't trust Google reviews. And this person doesn't have any malpractice accountability, continued education. And if this person had serious mental health issues or trauma, then this person could end up doing way more harm than good, because essentially they'll be delaying proper treatment that they could have had. In spicy play context, if you catch my drift, any situation that mixes suggestion and relationships, that can cause more false authority and over-attachment. So I would argue you need to be even more careful there. A lot of people say that they want this hypnotist to have this special control and over them, over their lives. And of course, hypnosis can't make you do anything, but you can still manipulate. You can still run into good old-fashioned toxic manipulation. So when the submissive subject believes that this person has extra control, skill, ability, that just reinforces the danger there, because at the end of the day, the danger is toxic manipulation, not the hypnosis itself. It just, the placebo effect, the belief of, oh, this person has this certificate, so they must be really good, or they must know what they're doing, or must be versed in ethics, when that assumption, it could be easily not the case. There is real clinical danger as well. I'm not saying that it's inherently super safe either. There's fake memories that people can pull up with hypnosis. It can worsen dissociative symptoms and false memories if it's misused. So it's not that it's brainwashing someone. It's not dangerous in the sense of how the hypno kink circles portray it, like it's something that's gonna replace your personality or cause irrevocable brain damage. It's not that fancy or dramatic. In reality, I know it's not sexy for the hypno kink enthusiasts, but all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. No one can make you do anything that you weren't already going to do, or that you weren't already open to doing.
Okay, the saying isn't wrong, but it's also not. I don't think it's correct. Because all hypnosis is self-hypnosis as a concept of what she said after that, of no one can make you do anything you don't want to do, is true and it is important. But I think that the phrasing of all hypnosis is self-hypnosis is just kind of wrong. Someone can induce a trance state in you that isn't consensual, but like, humans are very suggestible, like I was saying earlier, and it is kind of possible to play on that, but that's just manipulation. that has nothing to do necessarily with hypnosis. That said, all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. I feel like kind of bellies that reality a little bit of like, yeah, they might not be hypnotizing you, like it, you know, against your will. They can manipulate you against your will, and that is toxic, and that again isn't specific to hypnosis, but like I don't know. I just find all hypnosis to be self-hypnosis. I don't care that it's not sexy or whatever, like she said, but it is just kind of like, I feel like it's a little misleading in some ways in terms of the phrasing. What it means is not necessarily wrong.
No one can override your morals.
That's true.
And there's no lingering long-term effects like a post-hypnotic suggestion that can be triggered and wake you up like a CIA sleeper agent trigger. That's just Hollywood.
God, I wish.
So then I have people that say, oh, see, everything is fake. People think that just because I'm saying that I'm saying that it's all a scam and charlatans, and that's not what I'm saying either at all. I mean, obviously I make hypnosis videos, so of course I believe that it's doing something. It's relaxation, it's mental health, it's entertainment. It is an altered state of consciousness. Saying that it's not real is like saying that REM sleep is not real. It's observable, scientifically provable. There's so much evidence that shows that it helps with anxiety, depression, addiction, cigarette smoking. Meta-analysis in the International Journal of Clinical and Experimental Hypnosis showed hypnosis improved outcomes for pain control and anxiety by 20 to 30% when combined with CBT. Not that type of CBT, boys. 2016 Stanford fMRI study demonstrated measurable changes in the anterior cingulate and default mode network during trance, confirming it's a distinct brain state, not just placebo. If the subject is unwilling to participate, there is no hypnotist in the world that could put them under a trance. It's not anesthesia. It requires trust, participation, suspension of disbelief. That's why I'm always mildly amused whenever I have somebody commenting, fishing for my attention and saying, oh, I bet you can't hypnotize me, or I've never been hypnotized, or I can't be hypnotized.
I hate those comments too. Oh my fucking god! Because like I said at the beginning of the video, I have a hypnotist channel, and I have had for a long time before this channel even. I've been active as a hypnotist for a long time, and it is just like, oh my god, do you think this is doing anything? Do you think it is? Just random people. If you're being like bratty to like someone you know, that's like different, but I hate it.
Literally, if you say so. Literally, if you say so. That's like saying, I bet you can't make me buy you a drink. Like, no shit. If you don't want to buy me a drink, you will not buy me a drink. There's nothing deeper I can say outside of good old-fashioned manipulation at that point to try to persuade you otherwise. But at that point, again, that is manipulation, not hypnosis. And I know that's not what the hypno kink community wants to hear, but it is so important.
I don't necessarily I don't disagree with most of what she said. I mean, I have been pretty open about my takes on what she's said, but I don't, now that this has happened like several times, I don't really understand what she's referring to when she keeps saying, oh, I know the hypno kink community is not gonna like this or whatever, and I'm just like, is she talking about like a community I'm aware of and a part of on like Discord and Blue Sky and YouTube and stuff, or is it like the randoms on Reddit that just comment under like flashy hypnosis, porn gifs? I am kind of confused, and it feels like a bit of like ragging unnecessarily on hypnosis. Like, or on the Hypno Kink community. I don't really understand where that's coming from. Maybe I'm like, I want to be charitable and be like, hopefully, it is the latter, because I'm like, everyone that I know that's like deeply into hypnosis is like, we're pretty much all on board with everything that she has said for the most part. So the weird dogging is a little strange to me. And I don't really understand where that's from. I don't know what that's about. It's a little odd.
Important that we separate the fantasy and play and the reality so we can enjoy trance responsibly.
Like, I don't feel like I've ever met someone that's actually in the community that is like not new or whatever that disagrees with what she just said there. Never. And I've been in the hypnotic community since I was 9 years, or not 9, oh my god, since I was 19 years old. And I just don't know. I don't know.
Is being demonized. I mean, it already is, so I guess it's already too late for that. All the hypnotic states that you fall into are self-generated. The hypnotist is a guide, not a puppeteer. As appealing as the idea of having some femdom puppeteering your thoughts and controlling you is, as soon as your subconscious mind says no, that's the end of the trance. The trance collapses. So if you're looking for a hypnotherapist, do your own research. If you're looking for a femdom, hypnodom to spice up your hypnosis experience, again, you need to be just as careful doing your own research. And I mean, I would strongly advise against overlapping the mental health hypnosis with the DS play hypnosis, because that is where the lines between fantasy and
yes, I think even if you seek out hypnosis for mental health, it needs to be clearly separated. I will never do therapy. It's a very clear line of like I'm not even trying to do therapy, it's doing like therapy-esque things. Like, I've had friends ask me to make like files for like self-help basically, and I am just like, no. I don't want to do it because I'm not mixing those two. I'm not licensed. I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't want to cause more harm than good. And I think that most people should be that way. Now, I know that there are hypnotherapists in the kink community, and I think that's fine, but I think, like, if you are, like, seeking a session from them or something for, like, some sort of mental health thing, you should not be consuming their files that are, like, explicit. In my opinion, your life is your own, but this is just what I think, because there needs to be that clear separation where things get fucking weird. It gets real weird in a very bad way. Weird can be good. This is not the right kind of, that's not the good kind of weird.
reality become extra blurred and messy. Of course, the thought of dating your therapist, that's inherently a bad idea, come on. And I could go on and on and on about hypnosis. There is so much to say about Ericksonian hypnosis versus conditional hypnosis, NLP, MK Ultra hypnosis versus brainwashing, dark psychology, but this video is already like really long.
I will say I laughed at the MK Ultra thing, and I need to say something about that, because MK Ultra, what actually happened was horrifying, extremely unethical. The United States government should not have been doing that shit, to say the goddamn least. But bringing it up in like a hypnosis context in the modern day of just like how sensationalized it is, it just makes me laugh every time, because it's just like they just weren't doing what, like, in the hypno, realms, like what it is often stereotypically portrayed as. They just weren't doing that stuff. They were doing way worse and grosser stuff than that. It was not anything that was like fun and sexy. Can it be like fun and sexy? Whatever. I don't mind, that like set dressing for like a file series or whatnot. It is a hot idea, but I just didn't want people to think I was laughing at like the real world, what happened to MK Ultra, because it's absolutely horrible, disgusting, immoral. The United States government should not have been doing that shit. Holy fuck, I hate the United States government.
So, if you found this interesting, drop your thoughts below. Let me know if you would like to explore these topics even deeper. And if you have some questions for me, of course, feel free to leave them down below as well.
I like that
I
shade of
know
gold on the pocket
100%
watch.
this happens in every single informative type of video discussion that I post. Someone is going to think that this was some sort of covert linguistic induction. It isn't, I promise. Again, I hope you found this video informative and hopefully you learned something new. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTube shit. And until next time.
Overall, I think it was a good video. I think it was informative. Like I said, I don't understand the weird, like, the random shots at just, like, the Hypno King community is not gonna like this, but I think overall it was a good discussion. It was important. I would love to have some kind of, like, wrap-up, but I feel like I gave my thoughts pretty thoroughly throughout it all. I think that it can be summed up by learn general kink safety, learn what hypnosis is not, and have fun, but not too much fun. I don't know. Is that like a stereotypical thing? Is that like I don't know. I don't know. This video's over. This is done. It's way too long. I have no idea how long it's actually going to be. Oh my god. Go check out the video. It's linked below also. Or go check out her channel, I guess, because we did just watch the whole video. But yeah. Bye.